Good evening, baseball fans. It is Thursday, January 9th. I am Suzy. That is Tom. This is Bourbon and Baseball Astros edition. If you are new here, this is a rated R podcast for all of the four-letter words, possibly, probably inappropriate adult humor, and I don't know, just generally things that you don't want your kids to hear, depending on how old your kids are. So if that's not your jam, skedaddle on out of here and go listen to a less fun podcast about the Astros, of which there are many to listen to. So if you want fun and informative, this is the place. Here we go. Tom, how are you? How's it going?
I'm good. Today was a good day to be an Astros fan. If you were concerned about whether or not they would come to terms with some of their players.
I was hoping that they weren't going to come to terms with some of the players and just, do things and just make some moves and trade them away, but they did not. They paid all of the guys, all of the monies, all of it.
Are
I
we
guess
going
we
to
should
talk
start
about
out.
what would Suzy do?
Yeah, but if you've listened to this podcast before, you would know what Suzy would do. I would give
Oh.
Chas McCormick all of the monies. I would send Jake Myers to the fucking moon, along with Mauricio Dubon, and none of that happened. It's okay, though.
They did give Chas McCormick all the monies relative to Jake Myers.
As they should have.
Mhm.
As they fucking should have. I know y'all are going to come with me with last year's numbers. I know. I am fully aware of how putrid Chas McCormick's performance was last season. All right. Fully aware. However, I don't think that was him. And now I'm fully aware of how well he did in the 2023 season. And I also don't think that is him. I think that was the best version of him.
He's
But
somewhere
I
in the
think
middle.
I think he's somewhere in the middle. I think he's an above average baseball player. And
Above
I will take that.
average.
Barely above average.
They're projecting him for 102.
See, I don't think I don't know. What is the difference in a 102 WRC plus or OPS plus versus like a 110, 115? You know what I'm saying? Because in my head, that's the player that I'm thinking that Chas McCormick is. In that 2023 season, what was Chas McCormick? I want to say like a 133 player OPS plus. Let me see. How good am I? 130. 130. He was a
I mean,
130
he is like
OPS
one of your favorite
plus.
players, so I wouldn't victory lap too hard on that one.
I'm going to take my victory laps where I can fucking take it because this memory here is not a steel trap, all right? It is like Swiss cheese. That's the one with all the holes, right? Yeah, Swiss cheese. So the fact that I retained a number close to it, I'm going to take my victories where I can get it. So, let's see. 2021, he was a 107 OPS plus. 2022, he was 111. 2023, 130. Last year, he was 66. Well aware, people. Well fucking aware. I'm thinking in between 111, 132, like 115, 120. I think that's his range. And I think the fact that the carousel of where the fuck is Chas and Jake gonna play is gone since Kyle Tucker is no longer on this team. Chas McCormick is slated to be the everyday right fielder. So again, that hurts my heart. Did
you hear about Kyle Tucker? Did you hear that they're going to arbitration?
You shut the fuck up right now.
I
did not.
swear to God. Yes. Kyle Tucker asked for 17.5 and the Cubs offered him 15 million.
Cubbies, what the fuck are you doing right now?
I don't understand that. You went out of your way to go get him. Why on earth would you not pay that man if you intend to pay that man?
That's so dumb. That's the dumbest fucking thing. We did not hit arbitration numbers on Bourbon and Baseball, All the Balls edition, because there was just too many tradings, and that's going to be for the next one. But that's so dumb. That's so dumb. Chicago Cubs, what the actual fuck? Like, I get it from a pure business sense, because if you give him 17 and a half or whatever, then you're going to have to start negotiations at that kind of, what the fuck are you doing? Seriously, like one of the top 10 players. Why? You so dumb. And that's just going to cause fucking issues. We went to arbitration with him one time, right? And didn't he lose?
He did.
But that's got to cause some
it was frowned upon. If you intended to negotiate a long-term deal, why be cheap now?
Astros organization's dumb. Cubs are dumb. Apparently, the only smart organization out there is the fucking Dodgers, who deferred $1 billion of monopoly money. Baseball's dumb. Why did I start liking this sport? Anyways, back to the Astros and Chas McCormick and the right fielder. Okay, so this whole carousel of is Chas going to play I think for his mentals, I think will be good. And I think since he knows he's got that everyday right field job, he doesn't have to fight for it. He doesn't maybe the pressure won't be on to perform as much. And it's because I feel like that was part of the issue for Chaz. He got hurt, yes, but even when he was up there, you could just see him fighting for his fucking life. Some of these at bats, just and I think that was part of it. Was oh my god, I have to perform, or I'm not going to get APs. Poor Dusty did that man wrong. Just
You're
fighting
gonna
for his
get all
fucking
the
life.
banana pudding, but no at bats.
Yeah. But arbitration happened. If you guys do not know what arbitration is, essentially before baseball players can become free agents, they have to go through 3 what they call arbitration years, and essentially that is when you can pick a number with what you think your salary should be as a player, then you take that number to the club, and if the club accepts it, that's what you get paid for that season. If not, like Kyle Tucker, then you go to an arbitrator where essentially you have to say, no, I deserve this salary because of X, Y, and Z. And the club comes back at you and says, no, you do not deserve this salary because of X, Y, and Z. Um, really famous arbitration case, Corbin Burns and the Brewers 2 seasons ago, where essentially the Brewers arbitrators and the Brewers front office basically put them losing in the postseason, the season prior, on Corbin Burns, and essentially said, "You were the reason why we lost." When Corbin Burns had been in that organization, had been brought up in that organization, loved the organization up until that point, and they did him dirty. And it's not a. It doesn't feel like a great process. I personally wouldn't thrive in that situation, and I don't know if it's one of those where the player is actually because in my head, this is what's going on. The player and their agent are on like one side, and then front office and whoever is making those type of decisions is on the other side. And I feel like Jim Crane has given whoever like a ceiling to get to, and that is the most that they're allowed to get to. And then they have points, and I feel like the arbitrator is like the judge type thing. I feel like that's what it's going on, but I don't know. Are they is are the players in the room when when the team comes to them and says all of the shit of why they don't deserve the number that they're asking for?
I
Or
believe I believe they are. I believe it's a hearing, like, they have to show up and it's ruled out. I believe that a lot of the times now, obviously, the one you spoke to was a special occurrence, and I think that really burned bridges with the Brewers and Corbin Burns. A lot of the times, it's just comparable numbers money-wise to other players. Hey, X is making X, Y, and Z. This player is comparable. This is what we think you're worth, comparable to the market, like how the housing market is when you go to buy a house. So I feel like that is how a lot of arbitration is done. And if you can prove, hey, I was this much better than I was before, I outperformed X, Y, and Z, then the arbitrator can rule in your favor, going, no, you're above average player and you should be making this money.
yeah, and apparently the arbitrator is supposed to be neutral and sometimes doesn't know anything about the sport is what I have been told, which I feel like is detrimental in some situations where I'm like, how are you supposed to rule on something when you don't understand the sport? I feel like that would be like if I were to rule for like football, like you're a linebacker. What do? You know what I'm saying? I feel like the arbitrator should know something about baseball.
I know absolutely
No?
zero about taking pictures, but if somebody asked me to judge pictures, I could stand there and say, okay, I like this one because of that. I feel like when you get an arbitrator, I think that's actually good. That's what I'm getting at. I think it's good that they're not baseball savvy, so there's no fandom in it. There's no impartial to one club or whatever. I think the fact that they don't watch the game or care about the game, they're gonna be as black and white about it as you could be. Like, look, I don't have any skin in this. I don't care one way or the other. Like, I don't value pitching over hitting, or I don't value postseason numbers. I'm just looking at comparables. And if you told me this is subject A, this is subject B, this is subject C, and these are the numbers, okay, subject A should make what subject B makes, something like that.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. I can see that kind of, maybe. I don't know. Put it in the YouTube comments what you guys think. If you agree, disagree, what you guys think of the arbitration process, drop those in the comments or, tweet at us, talk to us on socials. But Yeah, so essentially they have 3 years of arbitration, and most of the time it is a non-starter. It is player is getting X amount of dollars for this season. So all of our guys, we had 8 guys go through arbitration this season. We have none of they didn't accept the number. They have to go to arbitration. All of the numbers are accepted. Do you want me to read the list of the players and how much they got, and then we can talk about each one individually afterwards?
However you feel like reading it off.
All right. Fun fact: I downloaded this app because I spend way too much time on Twitter. So I downloaded this app that I saw an ad for that apparently you can block the app unless you do some sort of like physical activity. And so I blocked Twitter on my phone, and you can set the things, like you can do push-ups, squats, or you can take steps. I knew I wasn't going to do push-ups or squats, so I was like, okay, we got to walk. We got to do some steps. So I added a bunch of steps. And so it blocks your time on Twitter unless you've banked minutes, and then you can choose how many minutes you can spend on Twitter. So now I'm very more mindful. I'm much more mindful about the time I spend on Twitter. So I have to go and search out the things that I want to like definitely read, and there's no doom scrolling anymore, which is fun, I guess. But then when I really am interested in finding something, I'm like, oh shit, now I really got to go find it, and then I got to go like walk. So that's why I texted you that link so that I would have it, and I wouldn't have to use more minutes on Twitter for like
Wow.
more of my steps on it.
So, did you do this for all the socials? TikTok, Insta?
I didn't because I spend the most time doom scrolling Twitter, and so I wanted to see A, if it would work, and B, how it would work. I didn't want to take all of my vices away and just quit cold turkey. Are you crazy? But I spent a lot less time on Twitter than I did normally, so I may have to spend the $7 a month or something and to sign up for it. We'll see. And hey, if I get my steps in, so be it. Anyhow, I guess the biggest one that we avoided arbitration with was one Fromber Valdez. Fromber agrees to a $18 million contract for 2025, and that is a decent little pay bump from last season, because last season he got 6.8. Oh, excuse me, I'm dumb. 12.1. 12.1, and now he's getting 18. Not double, because that's what happened from 2023 to 2024, essentially double, but a little over that. Next season he will be a 32-year-old free agent, and it will be definitely interesting to see what a 32-year-old Framber Valdez on the open market will command.
It'll be a lot. It'll be in the range of Max Fried. It'll be in the range of Corbin Burns, somewhere in there.
He has been a workhorse. He has been very durable. I want to say last season he put up 180 innings, 180-ish innings, ground ball extraordinaire. So I don't think he'll be on the Astros for 2026.
Really? Hot
I
take?
don't. Is it a hot take? I don't think it's a hot take. I don't think the Astros are going to pay him. I think he's going. You just said a Max Fried, Corbin Burns type contract.
Yeah, but the
8
key to
years,
that,
6 years.
I do think he'll get a 6-year deal. And I do think the Astros will offer him a 6-year deal. You got to figure by the time he gets this contract, he'll be 32. So, where Bregman is the other big name that Astros fans are like, why can't we pay him? Recent stuff is saying that he's seeking 7 years and the Astros aren't willing to go there. I do believe they will present Framber Valdez with a 6-year contract. Now, the question is if he
So
balls
we're
out
gonna pay him until he is
38.
38.
I could see it. You make that face like 38-year-olds don't play for the Houston Astros.
Not that they want them to. I
They
mean,
did.
unless yes, you're gonna count JV. That's fine, but it's JV.
I'm
Come
going to
on
count
now.
Jose Abreu too. They paid him too.
Jose Abreu. I don't know who this Jose Abreu of which you speak. Not a clue. Who's that? That's last I heard he was for the White Sox. I know.
There's a guy, if you go look at the Astros payroll, there's a guy named
Mhm.
Jose Abreu collecting a check.
I don't. I don't know.
I'm just saying,
I
right
don't think they're
now,
gonna give him a. I don't think they're gonna give him a 6-year. I think, and especially after the LMJ contract, I don't think. I don't think they are.
I don't think like, a lot of this is going to depend on what Framber does, right? If Framber has a phenomenal season, it'll be really hard to get away from him because That's the ace of your staff, and he's leading you to probably another postseason. And around him, you have a bunch of younger guys. So I would imagine Dana and Jim Crane would not want to go out and have to go get another starter, right? Because if you lose Fromber, then you got to replace him because literally he's taking the ball opening day. So I just can't see a scenario if he pitches well where they don't try to keep him. Now, if he pitches poorly, yeah, they may look the other way and go, you know what? Let someone else try that because we're not going to pay a guy that we've seen great and we've seen really bad from.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the fact that they, again, haven't given a contract out longer than 5 years, and that was for Jose, the actual Jose Altuve, the one word that I'm referencing, Jose Altuve. The fact that they wouldn't give Bregman what he wanted, and I feel like they would be way more inclined to give Bregman what he wanted than Fromber. I just don't think that they're gonna play Fromber.
I still need to know the story. I need to know what the final offer from Houston was for Alex Bregman because I've heard rumors that it was all the way up to 6 years, 180 million. And if that's the case, if they
I think
offered
it,
him,
no, I think it was 6,156. That was, I think that was the final, or 6,5,158.
I heard that went up again. The final offer before they went out and they signed Christian Walker. Now,
Where are you hearing that from?
Wheelhouse and those guys had it. It was who was it? I think it was on MLB rumors, but there wasn't a number. There wasn't a number. Only that they had upped their offer to him before they went and signed Christian Walker. It was a last ditch attempt to try to keep him here. So I don't know. I need to know that. If they never got to that point, then you're right. They're not
I'm
gonna
pretty
pay.
sure I'm pretty sure that Scott Boras and John Heyman would have leaked whatever that number was if it was higher than 6,156 to all of the other clubs. Oh, for sure.
Not if he
For
can't get
sure.
it now. Not if no one's willing to give it to him now. They wouldn't want nobody to know that he turned out an offer that he can't get now.
If he turned down 6,156 and it was rumored that he wanted 6,200, 7,200 or whatever, they would have said, "Hey, Astros, or we have an offer for 6,180."
Again, that offer's
That
no
would have
longer
that
a
would have come out.
that offer's no longer
It
a
would have come
thing.
out.
I think it would have if the Astros were still involved. The fact that they were no longer involved, it would be more detrimental to say we had this offer and didn't take it.
No, I think it would have leaked at some point that there was a bigger offer on the table.
Like I said, I
Oh,
need the whole story. I haven't heard it definitively anywhere. I've just read different things that the Astros made a ditch effort to retain Alex Bregman, up their offer from 156, rumored, like I said, by no sources, the Passam didn't say it or anything like that, that it was 180 million, and he turned it down,
okay.
seeking 6 years, 200 or 7 years, and no one's willing to go there. So now that the Astros are that offer is no longer on the table, Boris and those guys would definitely not use it as leverage because it doesn't exist.
We we I'm gonna do some investigative journaling. Journaling?
Let me know.
Journal digging? I'm gonna try and find out. Anyways, so Fromber, for again, for as much shit as we give Fromber being the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde pitcher that he is, motherfucker had an extraordinary record last season. A 15-7 record last season with a 2.91 ERA in 28 starts, 76 and a third innings pitched. That is dumb. So dumb. So dumb.
And if you didn't see the
So,
games where he blew up, you just thought, man, this guy's a beast. And he
yeah.
is. And if the Astros fans, myself included, weren't so damn spoiled by no hitters and complete games and the dominance that guy has had, you just
Well,
don't understand.
I think that's it though, because we see the greatness in Fromber, and so therefore we expect the greatness all day, every fucking start, because we have seen Justin Verlander give that to us. We have in the quote unquote olden days, we saw Garrett Cole give that to us. So the fact that he is still maneuvering his baseball greatness and his mind pitfalls or whatever it is, I'll call it a spade. We're all spoiled bitches, myself included. Yes, I expect greatness from Fromber because I know that he's capable of it. I am that Asian mom. So, shortstop, Jeremy Pena gets $4.1 million. You have a girlfriend now, Jeremy Pena. I expect some Gold Glove defense, baby. That's what I'm expecting.
I just hope he's focused on baseball. Like I saw her and I could understand why he would be distracted.
Now he's not distracted anymore. Like, he has a girlfriend. He doesn't need to go chase anything. He doesn't need to go deal with anything.
Ma'am, I'm gonna tell you from the guy's perspective. The girlfriend is the distraction. He didn't have time to chase anything. Dude's ball game to ball game. Now he makes time for her. She's the distraction.
No, because I've heard some stories unwillingly from some very reliable sources that just nope. And now I'm gonna leave it at that. He has a girlfriend now. I feel like he's gonna be a little bit more concentrated. That's all I'm saying. Gold Glove defense. Last season he was a 100 OPS plus. He's an average bat, but a Gold Glove defense is what I want. That's what I want. I hope that
For
comes back
$4.1
next
million.
season. For $4.1 million. Saying. And just blown away sliders. You're not gonna hit him. Just don't try. Third baseman, Isak Paredes, gets $6.625 million. We got him we traded for him. Why wouldn't we give him the money? That just seems like a smart move. Again, I'm going to reserve judgment until I see a full season of him here at Minute Maid Park. JK, no longer Minute Maid Park. Now it's Daikin Park. Don't like that. And we're going to see what he does in the Crawford boxes. And hopefully Tony Perishtiga, new infield coach, maybe can work with him a little bit and shore up some of that hot corner defense. We'll see. We shall see. I think the steal, however, of arbitration was our setup man, Brian Abreu. Steal. Brian Abreu. $3.45 million.
What do you think he was gonna get?
More than that?
Keep in mind he still has another
I mean,
year.
okay, let me take that back. I think he's worth more than that. How's that? I think
That's
he's
fair.
definitely worth more
Yeah.
than that. The fact that this season, I want to say he was making a little over 1.3 million, maybe. Let's check on that. Brian Abreu. 1.75 is what he made last season. This season, 3.45. In his age 28 season, I think he's only getting better. I want to say his numbers are a little bit inflated because he was so fucking overworked. Honestly, I thought he was going to get 5. But I guess maybe next season, that's what the ARB number will be.
To your point, Sports Track has a calculated market value tool, and it's based on all the other pitchers that are like relatively similar. And they say his value should be 7.4 million annually.
Okay. I am in fact correct that that it is a steal. But obviously, he's not going to get that. If you hear my dryer going on in the background, just be glad that you are being serenaded by the sound of my dryer. My towels are done now. So, I'm just excited. And for Brian Abreu, I'm like, good on you, Brian Abreu. You deserve all of that money and more. Jake Myers is getting $2.3 million. Nope.
Come on, that's cheap.
Nope. You know what I want, Jake Myers? What I would have loved for the club to do to free up some money, because apparently we're trying to get under a fucking luxury tax. Let Jacob Melton play.
Do you know what Jake Myers' market value is?
No, but I'm about to tell you. No, absolutely not. No. 10.1. Are you fucking kidding me?
He's Gold Glove.
No.
Look at the comparisons. Those are similar guys.
No.
Harrison Bader, Kevin Kiermaier, your boy. All glove, very little stick.
Listen,
Michael Harris.
If he looks like Kevin Kiermaier, yes. Yes. Absolutely, yes. He doesn't. So no, that hurts my heart. And I think I'm just so sorely disappointed, though, just because I had such high hopes for Jake Myers. Because I remember Jake Myers' rookie season. Sure. I don't know. Maybe the outfield carousel will help Jake Myers, too. Even though I feel like Jake Myers didn't need to fight for a fucking spot. Like, you knew Jake Myers was going to be the fucking outfielder. Or center fielder, excuse me. So, Jake Myers gets $2.3 million. Apparently, the market value for a Jake Myers is a $10.1 million, comparable to Harrison Bader, Kevin Kiermaier, Michael Harris II. No, just absolutely the fuck not. Nope. Let Jacob Melton play. Because apparently that's, according to Fangraphs, that Jacob Melton is slated for 30% of the center field time. Who knows? But let Jacob Melton play. Are you fucking kidding me?
Tell me.
I don't like this either. Apparently, Mauricio Dubon is... I need a moment.
You had this thing in your head when we got, I believe this. You came into this going, we overpaid all these guys. I can't stand it. I hate the Astros right now.
Listen,
this is horrible. And now you're seeing, that, okay, maybe we got to pump the brakes on that. Because as much as they're not to the value that you think they are, when you compare them around the league, they are.
I don't like it.
I didn't have an issue with the Dubon number. I didn't have an issue with the Jake Myers number relative to Chaz. I thought Chaz was the better player, is the better player, should be making more money. I think he's a year further in the process. But I could justify, all right, if you have to have this dude on your roster, he should cost this. But this is the $5 million for Doobie is why I've always felt like if the Astros were smart, they would have found a way to move him, because that's $5 million for a player that's not going to play every day. Which for me, that's a lot.
Yeah, but I don't know how many times I fucking said it. He's best when he comes off the bench. And as a bench player, I will take Doobie as a fucking bench player.
But you wouldn't pay a bench player $5 million.
Like a really good bench player, maybe.
I can't think of one that's worth $5 million off the top of my head. Apparently Doobie is, but I'm just saying.
Mauricio Dubon avoided arbitration and is getting $5 million this season. His market value apparently is just a little higher than Jake Myers at $10.9 million. Similar to... See, sometimes this is why I don't understand Spot Track, because they've listed the comparable players. We've selected the following players based on their age, contract status, and statistical production to compare to Mauricio Dubon. They chose Harrison Bader, okay. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, okay. Manny Margot, okay. And then Yadier Molina.
Age 39. One of these things is not like the other.
So maybe Spot Track is just a little drunk.
And I think where they get there is the statistical stuff. It's the next, if you go further down, where hits per game, RBIs per game, Ks per game, average per year, OPS, ISO, WAR. So they do it that way. Those guys all grade out the same. The contracts look similar. That's why even though Yachty's like 1 billion years old and played catcher, he fits that mold.
So we're paying $5 million for a career 87 OPS plus.
We're doing, because he's a fan favorite.
I want to compare Mauricio Dubon to Isaiah Falefa. Let's do that. Let's see what that comparison is. Come on, Baseball Reference.
You're going to be disappointed.
Come on, get in the boat. Fish.
Do you know what Isaiah Falefa is going to make this upcoming season?
Where did IKF? I get IKF and Gleyber Torres mixed up in my head so often.
IKF is a Pirate.
Okay, and Gleyber is a Tiger. But
we're talking IKF. So what do you think IKF is going to make? Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think IKF is going to make more or less than Doobie?
I think I want to say he made less. I want to say he signed for $3 million.
You would be wrong.
Oh, are you going to tell me, or are we just going to record some more dead air?
IKF is going to make, you're going to edit it all out anyway. IKF is going to make $6.2 million in 2025.
Okay, well, he's a better player.
Ooh, than Doobie? Spicy. I wouldn't say that.
Over his career. Let's see. What did I choose, career, or did I choose 2024? Yeah, I chose
the year he signed or whatever, from 22, 23, I guess is full time or whatever, was 2.08. Doobie's last year was 2.74.
Okay. Now I'm gonna just do 2024 head to head between Mauricio Dubon and IKF in 137 games for Mauricio Dubon versus IKF's 133 games. Plate appearances for IKF 496 versus Doobie's 428. IKF had 125 hits. Doobie had 108. Home runs, IKF had double, 8 home runs versus 4. Now, Doobie had 47 RBIs versus IKF's 43. IKF played for the Blue Jays. I will forgive that. Stolen bases, he had 11 versus Doobie's 3. Batting average, exactly the same, 269. He had a higher OBP, 306 versus 296. He had a higher slug, 376 versus 361. He had a higher OPS, 683 versus 657, which grades out to 92 OPS plus versus Doobie's 88. Yes, better player. Not by much, but still a better player. And he's getting and he's getting paid as such. Is Mauricio Dubon a steal? Is he undervalued?
I think he's fairly paid. I don't think he's a steal. I think he's overpaid. I don't think he's underpaid. I think he's fairly paid. I don't
But
know
I
that I
can't.
love it for a role player, like a bench player, like a fourth outfielder. Like if you told me he was going to start in left field, then I'd be like, okay. And he's going to play 150 games. I'd be like, okay. I wouldn't like it. I don't think that the production would match what you want from your outfield, but I'd be like, we're getting off cheap to tell me he's going to play 90 games, maybe. It's a lot.
If he plays the most outfield, he'll be the highest paid outfielder that we have.
True.
You know, according to Fangraphs, it's going to be Taylor Trammell at 33% of the time and Mauricio Dubon at 21% of the time.
I don't know how they get that.
I don't know how they get it either.
I don't know where they make that up. I don't know where they think that Jacob Melton's going to play.
I'm just telling you what Fangraphs is saying.
I understand.
So for all of the other people that are like, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about, I'm just telling you what Fangraphs is telling me. So the last but certainly not least is the injured Luis Garcia. Got $1.875 million. Obviously, he missed all of last season recovering from Tommy John. I don't think he will be on the opening day roster this season. He will come back sometime, hopefully this season. But even if he does, it'll be very slow. But he's essentially just making the same amount that he did last season. His 22 season was awesome. 15-8 record with an ERA of 3.72. We'll see what he does without the rock the baby fucking wind up, which shouldn't be banned anyways. But that's a whole other topic in and of itself. So I don't know. We've had some other various signings. Obviously, we talked about Taylor Trammell. We've signed some international free agents. We've signed some minor league deals. One of the minor leaguers that apparently people are very excited about is a kid that went to Texas State. Did you see that one? I don't remember his name off the top of my head. And now I have to use some minutes. I have to use some minutes to get to my Twitter, guys. You're welcome. I love you that much, guys, that I'm using some minutes.
The other international signing that I thought was really interesting was like a kid. I believe his last name is Alvarez. I can't remember his first name.
But no, that's not the international one. We've signed some international ones, but that's not the international one I was talking about. That Alvarez kid is the one from Texas State, is the one that I was talking about.
I'm thinking of a different guy because he's supposedly like Jordan all over again. And I thought it was funny because he's like an Alvarez as well. He's supposedly 6'4", kind of lean build like Jordan was when he was a kid, and dude's left-handed and he rakes.
Let's here. Well, Gray Kessinger is no longer was DFA'd, and we traded him for a Diamondbacks pitcher, Matthew something. So it'll be interesting to see. And apparently he's like huge. Apparently he's 6'7" or something. That pitcher, not the Alvarez kid that we're trying to find. And we got to talk about the college football player too, Kevin Alvarez.
The Astros are the favorites to sign highly rated Cuban talent for the 2025 international signing period. The club is expected to sign outfielder Kevin Alvarez to a bonus of around $2 million when the next signing period opens January 15th. Alvarez is seen as one of the best hitters in the 2025 international class. The lefty hitter projects to have above average power. He also is a great athlete that excels with his arm and defense. Scouts have him at a 60 grade hit and power with a 55 grade overall. Scouts find his body and skills at that age similar to those of Kyle Tucker or a young Paul O'Neill, according to Francis Romero.
Okay. I don't know then which one I'm talking about.
I heard about the guy that you're talking about. I feel like his name's Hernandez, though. Oh, I'm sorry. Jose Gonzalez. That's who you're talking about.
Thank you.
Former Texas State player Jose Gonzalez signed a minor league deal with the Astros.
Does he has a spring training invite?
Yes. This past year, he
Is
played for the Yuba Sutter High Wheelers out of the Pioneer League. The outfielder played in 88 games and led the team in home runs with 19, RBIs with 84, and an OPS of 1.113. Save you the minutes.
what position does he play?
Outfield.
Okay. So
The Astros are
is
aware
he
of their outfield deficiencies, are trying like crazy to sign any kid that can play the outfield right now.
going to battle Taylor Trammell?
It's a minor league contract, so he doesn't have to make the club. He could start in Sugarland or Corpus or whatever.
Okay. So we also signed infielder Zach Short to a minor league deal. Has 219 games of major league experience between 4 clubs: Detroit, Boston, Atlanta, and the Mets. And it does include invitation to spring training. So what is he's a bench bat. So he's taking Gray Kessinger's spot then? What? Because he doesn't have any options.
I truly believe
So
these are all trying to see if they can find a diamond in the rough. Obviously, there were some guys in the minor at AAA last year that probably could have came up that didn't. And I think you're going to bring all these guys to spring training, and you're going to see who performs. And they're probably going to all try to acquire the spot that Greg Kessinger held.
okay, just can you just make it easy on ourselves and go sign Randall Grichuk?
But
Although
there's other.
apparently we've been in on Alex Verdugo. A part of me hates that, but a part of me doesn't mind that
Why do you hate it? Because it's
because I
Alex
hate his
Verdugo.
face.
You and everyone else.
I hate his face. However, I think like he's that Jesse Winker type. Like I think he wants to smoke. Like he would be that bad boy.
100%.
We need it.
And
We
you
would need
want
it.
that in the worst way.
I do, but I just don't want it from Alex Verdugo. Don't ask me why. Just has a punchable face. I feel like though maybe he has a less punchable face with facial hair.
I don't know. Yankee fans will tell you that he was the ugliest dude on the planet before he became a Yankee and shaved. And then all of a sudden, he's not so bad. Now, obviously, he played for them, so they had to feel that way. But
Oh yeah. No, but I feel because Doogie without facial hair was just not a good experience. Doogie's a left-handed bat. What? How much is he supposed to make?
let's go see.
Alex Verdugo.
Did you like his market value?
I don't like that. That's gross. Absolutely the fuck not.
I think he would cost probably $10 million. Last year, he played for 8.7. I don't think he blew anybody away. I think you could get him for 10 mil.
His market value is 15.2. That's why you heard that noise come out of my mouth, people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's gross. Alex Verdugo for an 83 OPS plus last season.
That's why I said Dubon's a steal. You have that already.
And in 2023, he was 100 OPS plus. In 22, he was 102. In 2021, he was 107. Yeah, he's doobie.
Literally. Maybe a better arm. Then again, maybe not.
I don't know. Again, the outfielder that isn't even a fucking outfielder has the best arm. Verdugo would just add to that. Gross.
You don't want to add to that, though.
I don't want Alex Verdugo. I want Anthony Santander. But we can't sign Anthony Santander. He has a qualifying offer as well. So we would lose another draft pick. Can't do that. Jake.
Would the draft pick would that be an automatic no for you? If Jim Crane said, I'll spend the money, but you're like, no, I want the draft pick.
No. I wouldn't
I feel that
care.
way.
It's just an extra twist of the knife.
But that's what you have
I
to
do.
do. I really feel like with the way the Astros dominate the international signings in Latin America, yeah, I would love them to go draft all the good young talent here. I would, but I don't feel like they lose out because they go get this kid like Kevin Alvarez for $2 million and they turn him into something. Like half of the Astros roster right now, you can trace back that way. Luis Garcia was that guy. Ronel Blanco was that guy. Humber Valdez was that guy. And the list goes
Brian
on.
Abreu was that guy.
Brian Abreu was that guy. Yeah. So Altuve was that guy. So Yuli Gurriel was that guy. So the Astros have been able to do amazing things in Latin America to offset the draft capital that they didn't have for either being punished or being good. Because drafting at the end of the first round does not equal getting the best players either.
Side note, I'm very excited to see a very good first baseman again. Very excited for that. Is there anything else that we should talk about, Tom? I think we've caught everybody up on Astros news. Unless I'm missing something.
Did you see a lot of the Christian Walker speech and introductions? And I think they had him on MLB Network. I was really interested. I didn't think they would really reach out to him and be like, hey, what interests you about the Astros? And he was very gracious of what the Astros have going on. It's so interesting to hear other fan bases and to hear the certain markets poke at the Astros all the time. For me, it's always Bob Costas. I always feel like but I think he's a Yankees fan. So it makes sense. And then players come to the Stros from other teams, and they're nothing but, man, I love what they have in Houston. And you see this team and the culture. You want to go play for them. You want to come to the ballpark. The guys that leave, they never say, I needed to get out of there. No, they miss all their guys. They love all their guys, that sort of thing. So
yeah, I saw where he was excited to get to spring training to see how they work. And that was one of the sentences that he said. He was excited to get to spring training to see the work ethic. And I think he'll be, I don't want to say like pleasantly surprised, because I don't know. I feel maybe in my head, and maybe I'm very naive, that can be a thing. But I feel like maybe a lot of places that have maybe veterans don't maybe take spring training seriously, because they're like, oh, I'm on the team, I don't really have to prove myself or whatever. And since Christian Walker had been on the Diamondbacks, and it being a kind of a younger team and them having to fight and prove themselves, maybe he saw some more hunger from the D-backs. So I guess maybe it will be interesting to see what the vibe will be like in spring training, because really and truly, you got Hosey, Jordan, and Jeremy Pena on, besides Jake and Chaz, who are, I'm not going to say quote unquote veterans yet, but those are the three. Yiner's going to work. If you're on Instagram at all, you've seen the Yiner Diaz Insta stories. Apparently LMJ is putting in work, pitching off a mound. Hunter Brown, pitching off a mound. I've yet to see Spencer Arrighetti pitch off a mound. I did see him play some golf though. Spence, what are we doing? He's probably working. He's just not recording it. But I think that culture here is prevalent. I don't think it's one of those where they're not going to work. At least I'm hoping so. Maybe? I don't know. Poor John Singleton.
John Singleton's he's gonna play some.
I know.
Maybe.
I know.
He'll DH some.
Hopefully.
Did you see the shredder on MLB.network or MLB Network have Yiner at number 5?
Was he number 5 or number 6?
I thought it was 5. Maybe it was 6. Either way, 5 or 6. Do you think that's fair?
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, I think. But did they put Alejandro Kirk in front of him though? Or was Alejandro Kirk lower than him?
I think he was lower than him. Okay. I think the 4 or 5 that were in front of him were like Adley, Big Dumper in Seattle, Will Smith, and Kansas City.
Salvi?
Yes, they had Salvi in front of him. I didn't love that, but I understood it.
I understand that. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll take it. Adley sneaky has been declining, but it's Adley Rutschman, so everyone's Adley Rutschman. Because I want to say Yiner had better numbers than Adley last season. I may be on crack, but I want to say that.
I believe it.
Let us see. And we're done. And again, I'm strictly talking about bat numbers, guys. I know defensive, blah blah blah, but like WAR, they put up almost the same amount of WAR. So if we're going to talk about Yiner's defensive capabilities or lack thereof, Adley last season had a 3.4 WAR season, and Yiner had a 3.2 WAR season. They played the same amount of games, 148. Adley had about 20 more plate appearances, 638 versus 619. Yiner beat him in hits, 175 versus 143. Adley beat him in home runs, had 3 more home runs than Yiner, 19 versus 16. And in every other category, Yiner kicked the shit out of him. 84 RBIs versus 79. 2 stolen bases versus 1. Not so much kicking ass, but whatever. 299 versus 250. 325 versus 318. 441 slug versus 391. 766 OPS versus 709, which is good for 107 OPS plus and 118 for Yiner. And you want to know which of those catchers was voted an All-Star last season? Not the one that deserved it. Criminally underrated. Yiner Diaz. Criminally.
They had Yiner at 6. JT Realmuto was ahead of him too.
Did you know that over the career Over his career? Oh my god, no, they've played the same amount of years? Yeah, same amount of years. 2 years. Adley has almost double the WAR, but almost double the games. Adley has 13.1 WAR versus Yiner's 6.4, 415 games versus 258. Fuck you, Dusty Baker. 1,795 plate appearances versus 1,005. 407 hits versus 276. 52 home runs versus 39. 201 RBI versus 145. 6 stolen bases versus 2. Batting average, Yiner wins 291 versus 261. OBP, Adley wins 351 versus 317. Slug, Yiner wins 476 versus 421. OPS 793 for Yiner, 772 for Adley Rutschman, which all equals out to the same exact OPS plus of 121.
If only Dusty had realized what we realized, or didn't take care of us. I guess that he said he was taking care of us. We would thank him.
I'm not thanking him. Nope. Nope. We could have had a rookie of the year. Just saying.
Another one.
Yes.
I will thank him on this front. Had he paid him, or had he played him, they probably would have had to pay him sooner. Do you know what Adley got in arbitration earlier today?
No.
$5.5 million.
Oh.
So I can thank him on that, because Yiner is not making that.
No, he is not.
Yiner Diaz is making $800,000 because he's pre-ARB.
He goes into ARB next 2026. Yeah.
ARB 1. So he's 2 years behind Adley in that respect, I think.
Okay. Question. Over the span of careers, who do you think will have the better career numbers, Adley Rutschman or Yiner Diaz?
I think it really depends on if they move into first base. I really feel like that matters. Saving a catcher's legs. You need your legs to hit. And while Yiner's young, yeah, I know he can catch a ton, and probably it won't be that big a deal, but I think over time it'll affect his stats. The same for Adley. If he just is a catcher and nothing else, then he'll start to decline. And then I think they'll be very similar. My bias would say Yiner, just because we see him every day. I see a lot of Adley. When Yiner's locked in, he has crazy streaks. That's the one knock I would say right now, is he can be incredibly streaky. There are times where he just looks so locked in at the plate, and there are times where he looks like he's lost. And it's weird because they're right up against each other. For a week, he hits everything, and then the following week he hits nothing, and you're like, where did Yiner Diaz go? And 10 days later, he's right back on it. I know baseball's incredibly difficult, and that's probably not as bad as I make it sound, but I don't know. Like I said, right now, if both of them go to first base and they're still very productive, I would say Yiner, but if either one of them stays a catcher, it's probably definitely the guy that transitions out.
So Adley is like 6 months older than Yiner. Adley was born February 6, 1998. Yiner was born September 21st, 1998. So
babies, both of them.
It will be interesting to see over the life of their careers who will be the better player. Okay. So
one last thing. The rumor is, so for all of you that don't know, I don't know why you wouldn't, Justin Verlander signed a 1-year deal with the Giants. But based on the way the schedule breaks down, there's a potential that his first start could be in Houston. Does he get another whole video board thing? And does he get another one? Or is he just another guy?
He already got one, right?
Yeah. When he came back, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think he gets one. You get one. You get one. Interesting. All right. On that note, we are going to close out the show. Tom, if people would like to talk with you, chat with you, yap with you about any of the things that we have discussed on today's episode, where can they do that?
Please do that in the YouTube comments on this video. I think that's the first and foremost place. We can definitely chat it up there. At Third Coast Tom on Twitter. I don't have any restrictions. I don't have any apps. I don't need to do any steps. You can find me. I will be there. I will answer post haste. I'm pretty good about getting people who hit me up on Twitter. Instagram, if that's your jam, at TCTom1 is me on Instagram. I can definitely interact with you there. And that is how you find me.
Look, this is what I have to do. I go to my Twitter app and it says steps to scroll. And so now I have to hit enter. I have to record my exercise. I need you to know that I've banked 163 minutes. If you're on podcast, audio only, go to the YouTubes and you will see my screen. I earned 190 minutes. That's what I've earned. 190 minutes. I've used 27 of them. I have 163 banked, so I have to use them very wisely. Okay? So DM me, chat with me on Twitter. If I don't get back to you immediately, you know why. It's because I haven't put in my steps.
And then just know, if you get a response and you respond to her, she will go dark again, because that will require more steps.
Listen, so maybe at the end of this, I will end up looking like 15 year ago Suzy, okay? Just skinny as fuck. And I'm still gonna have the red hair, but just skinny as fuck. All right? Probably not though, because I think it was like, I don't know, 110 pounds. That's not conducive to Suzy's lifestyle now.
I
would
didn't.
have to
I,
lose,
I didn't see the difference. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see it. But everyone's their own worst critic. I know I've put on a couple LBs over the last few years.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I'd have to lose like 30 pounds in order to do that. And we're not going to do that. No, we can always get some more steps in and become more healthy. That's what we can do. If you have not already liked and subscribed to this podcast, please do so. We are trying to get to 500 subscribers by the end of 2025. We are at like 261, 262 now. This is not a math pod, but I did do some math, and apparently that's 4.5 subscribers per week. And since we can't do half subscribers, let's go for 5. Let's try and get 5 new subscribers per week. But we can't do that unless you guys help us. If you will share the pod with various friends of yours that like the Astros. If for some reason you don't like the Astros, I don't know why you wouldn't. If you're not an Astros fan, guess what? There is another whole podcast that we talk about all of the other fucking teams. Okay? So go share Bourbon and Baseball. We talk about all the teams. Not specifically on this podcast, but on the other podcast. But this specific Astros podcast, we're the most fun Astros podcast. Just let it be known. Okay? Just let it be known. I dare say there would be probably one other one that could probably be as fun as ours. The other ones, though, not as fun. They have some potential.
I don't even know the one she's talking about. Don't even know it.
I'll tell you off air. I'll tell you off air, and then when you hear it, you're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, I can see it." Okay, all the other ones.
I'm gonna deny it. I'm gonna say nope, ain't it?
But again, people, if you are audio only, please leave us a 5-star rating on any sort of podcast audio app that you're listening to, Apple, Spotify, whatever other things that are over there. Leave a review. Do the nice typey tappy words. Melt my cold black dead heart. See if you can try. That would be a fun exercise. See if we can make Suzy cry. Just saying, that might be worth something, okay? I would maybe, if they're good enough, read them on air. Just saying. With that, we're going to close the show and say, yay, baseball! And record, maybe.